Kente, coming to you live, all the way live from Los Angeles, California. This is episode number 273, and this is day 4 of the Spotlight Week. All week we've been doing episodes on our platform, Get Vocal, and we are so blessed to have tonight this wonderful guest, award-winning actress, Kaiti Wallen. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I am so happy to be doing this interview with you, and I'm looking forward to chopping it up with you. Now, the bulk of our interview is going to be about your new film, which we've been talking about all week, Eternal Code. But before we get to that, being that this is your first time on our program, let's talk about you. So, where are you from originally?
I am originally from the Metro Detroit area. My family grew up in this area. What's nice is we're talking my grandpa and my dad were brought down to the city and they would do work on the skyscrapers, the old skyscrapers in Detroit. So, yeah, very much about what's going on here and the atmosphere. It's a great environment, very creative people here. It's great.
You know, I had the pleasure of being in Detroit, I believe it was 3 years ago. And, they say so much about Detroit, and it was so good to be there. And you see how wonderful the city is, especially, that was downtown Detroit on the People Mover, going around. Of course, I went to Motown, and I didn't disrespect the artists of the past by trying to sing there, even though they give you an opportunity to.
Yeah.
So, I just didn't feel right, being that I'm not a great singer, but I love my time being there. And a good friend of the family grew up in Detroit, and it was so funny. So he's like he couldn't wait to finally get a chance to show us Detroit, right? Always talked about growing up there, right? So he's like, and this is so funny about it. He goes right there. I got jumped right there. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, then we go to another place. Oh yeah, I got jumped by like 3 guys right there. And I was like, wait a minute, where haven't you been jumped in this city? But he didn't even say it like it was painful. He says it like, with a smile on his face, so, which is kind of funny, being a kid growing up, back in the day. But I had a wonderful time there. So what was it like, and how do you think growing up in Detroit has benefited you as a creative person?
Well, with that, what I have realized, because there's a lot of blue collar people here, but a lot of entrepreneurs that are creative, that are willing to take risks. Small town businesses or home businesses and stuff moving down to downtown and having a nice like with the restaurants and everything. These pop-up restaurants that are showing up, they're mostly people that are from around the area. It's not just these big chains. So you're getting all these different cultures too, because there's so many different types of people in Detroit, which is awesome. So you have like Greek Town. All right, if you haven't been there, you need to check it out. There's a lot of really good Greek food. Certain areas like Corktown is really nice. It's what I like about with the creative part of it is the city has started embracing art more. With like putting art on buildings and stuff. They're really starting to like push people to go to those limits, giving them the opportunities for that, making it easier for people to get access downtown. Because I don't know if you realized when you were here in Detroit that it's the, car capital of the world. We don't have as great as public transportation as most cities do. So most families have 3-4 cars even, which people are like, whoa, that's a lot. But it's like, yeah, you have a teenager in high school that needs a car to get where they have to go. You have mom and dad, they have to go to work. Like we don't have like the greatest of systems for public transportation, but it is getting better. They are really working on it, and they're making an effort and making it easier for the people that are from downtown to move, or that are from outside of downtown to come in downtown and really create down there. It's a lot of fun stuff going on.
All right. So did you go to high school in Detroit?
No, I didn't. I grew up the Metro Detroit, like I said. So I actually I graduated from Romeo High School.
Oh, wow.
You know Romeo High School? Oh, it's. I went to the same high school as Kid Rock.
Oh, oh, okay.
I know.
Right.
We went to the like the same area. I lived in the same area that he grew up in.
Oh, okay.
So
All right. All right. So, were you one of those people at a young age you knew that you wanted to do something in the arts, or did it come to you later?
it came to me later, but it's funny because now going back, I think about it. I'm like, wow, now it all makes sense. I'm a I'm really big on my emotions. So like when I'm sad, I'm really sad. You know, like I really have this ability with my emotions to really feel what I'm feeling. And as an actress, I'm like, wow,
Mhm.
hello, that's what you do.
Right.
You know.
Right. Right.
So it was like, all right, that's great. But no, I didn't really realize it until later on. And I mean, I'm so blessed that I did because I'm still young, you know.
Hmm.
I still have a lot of time left to do this. So.
That's right. That's for sure. What was the first? What was the first moment when you realized, like, okay, this is for me, and this is what I want to pursue?
Oh boy. Well, okay, so I started off when I was around 12 or 13. My sister got me in it and I dabbled in it a little bit. I knew I really liked it, but I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know enough about it to even think about pursuing any of it. It wasn't until so my husband and I we started a business, you know, a film production company, and we had already done like 3 shorts at this time, and even 2 features in. Okay, I mean I've already been doing the acting and all that, but I didn't really understand it. Like I mean I had some levels where I'm like, oh wow, this is an awakening moment. You know, it wasn't really until the third feature film that we made. Um, it was called it's Abstruse. You know
Mm-hmm.
Abstruse? Yes, it's the one that's coming out November 1st, which is kind of crazy.
Hmm.
But I had this moment in the second one where I just kind of knew like there wasn't like there's like a step that I need to make. I need to have a better understanding, and then you know the more you know, the less you really know. So since then, it's been like, wow, this is it. I really fell in love with the craft. I found myself having a therapy with acting, so it's like, all right, I can't let this go. This is it for me.
Oh wow, that's wonderful. And you know, so many people will live their whole lives and never really find out what they were put here on the planet to do, and it's a beautiful thing that you have. What are some of the things that you've done to nurture your craft of acting?
Training, getting the training. You have to get the training. You need to find yourself a coach, find out what your weaknesses are, find out what your strengths are, work on what you need to work on, take the constructive criticism. It may suck to hear that you suck at doing certain things, but you need to get better at it. So you need to be able to identify what those things are, and it will help you grow as an actor.
That it's all about growth, right?
It
Yeah, because
is.
if you continue to do something and you don't get better at it, you should really
Mm-hmm.
stop. You know, you should really stop. So, um, I'm just wondering though, how do you think you've evolved over the years in as an actress? Where do you think you've gotten better at?
As far as the type of acting, or
Just the way that you attack roles
uh,
and that.
okay, great question. All right, so have you heard of Betrayed?
Yes. Hmm.
The film Betrayed? Have you seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay, so Betrayed is about human trafficking.
Hmm.
uh, Harley wrote this story after hearing about the statistics in Michigan, and really we came to the realization that it's happening right here in our backyard. So it inspired him to kind of feel a move towards writing something about this to inform people. Well, this character that he claims that I'm the best suited for is the one that I had felt my walls going up. Like as soon as I read the character, I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that. This is way out of my comfort zone. No way. He's like, nope, this is you. So we actually had a few spats. I'm like, honey, no, I can't do this. Like um, this. It was just really uncomfortable for me. But it was uncomfortable for me because it was a level that I had never reached.
Right.
Okay. I play a trafficked victim.
Mm.
And the story is based off of my character's story and her process through this system.
Mm.
Okay. From the moment that she gets captured to the moment that she, whatever at the end happens to her, I can't really give too much away, but you see this cycle happen, and you see her and how she goes through this, and it's it was an eye-opening experience for me that we're not,
Mm.
invincible. like
Right. Yeah.
like this stuff, it happens to anyone, it can happen to anybody, so it was just interesting to see like myself going through that, because you do have to put yourself there,
Mm-hmm.
and to put yourself there you need the training, right?
Right. Yeah.
But also I became more like I had hit the level to where I was really able to put myself in my character's shoes,
Mm-hmm.
and to really feel what they're feeling in those moments, and even like just the listening to the other side, right? The peaks and the valleys that you go, or these, highs and lows that you go through as the character, and like processing it as that person, because you aren't you anymore, you're the character.
Right.
Stepping outside of that was very hard too. So
How does that person come home from you from the set, or do you leave it on the set?
for me, it depends on who it is. If it's like Marie, that's her name in Betrayed, I play Marie. It was a lot harder for me to leave her there because of how much it impacted me at home.
Mm.
Um, there were nights that oh gosh, this is crazy. So we had a couple of actors coming in from LA, and the scenes that I had with these people, I was inside of a dog cage.
Mm.
So I was in a dog cage for 2-3 days in a row.
Mm.
Okay. And the mental processing, and I mean, stepping out of that and then going home and putting your kids to bed, it was different,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But it made me appreciate things more. So I mean, it was at least for a good thing,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't something to worry about, but it did take me a few months to really let that character go. And some people I can just, I mean, you can just walk in on set and you're there.
Right.
They're just there. Just pick them up, and then as soon as you get off the set, it's done, right?
Right. Right.
And I'm not going to see that person again after I've stepped off the last time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where with her, it wasn't quite the same. So it really does depend on depth, the depths that you go through as a person, and who you are and who they are. I think, I mean, for me.
No, no, I understand. I can only imagine that inhabiting these characters, and you want to
Mhm.
do right by the character, right?
Yes, you
So,
have to right by
and
the character.
and I think to live in that skin, it has to be sometimes a traumatic experience as well. Um, do you feel like every role you take, do you take a little bit of piece of the characters with you going forward?
Uh, only the good stuff.
Hmm.
I really try. I actually, because that's actually where I am working right now with my acting, is um being able to step away from the bad habits, or whatever these pieces of this character are that you really don't want to have as you in you, right? Because some of these things, I mean, they are hard to let go.
Hmm.
um but I have like, I do a lot of like meditation. I think meditation helps a lot, and really more about reminding myself of who I really am, and that this is not me.
Hmm.
This is the character. And I can't judge my character off of what I would, on, as if it was a regular person, right?
Right.
So I have to like let all that go before I am like pushed into being that person. Um
Hmm.
yeah, it's
Well,
it's different.
how much does it help to have a partner, your husband, who is not only a director, a producer, but also an actor as well? Do you guys lean on each other?
Yes, we do.
No, that's got to be awesome.
We do. We help each other out in any way that we can. It's it's kind of funny that you say that, because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, like, yeah, he's a director and an actor, and you're an actor, but do you guys really do a lot of work together? That's what we do every day. We're doing it every day. We're helping each other. We're, pursuing each other to be better people. If I have a question or if I have a doubt, I can lean on him, and same goes for him. So it's nice.
That's really cool. Um, when you do something that is dark, such as Betrayed, um,
Mm-hmm.
do you try to follow it up with something lighter, or does it is just the role is the role? Like, do you try to do something like that?
It's interesting you say that, because yes, what I do now, I was lucky. After Betrayed, the character that I played was strong,
Hmm.
so I had to pull myself out of being vulnerable and being weak to being strong. What I do is, depending on what the character is, I give myself a few words to kind of remember, and to, when I'm on set, like, these words are the words that help me catch on to who this character is, as me. So, uh, Cassidy Stan is who I played after I played Marie. She is a very sarcastic. She's very sarcastic. She has a sense of humor, and she is strong. And she's there to try to solve the problem. So I'm going from being a completely vulnerable person who's a victim to this. The process, I'm so grateful that I had that character after, because I mean, you can see some actors having like a downward spiral, right?
Right.
After they play an emotionally impactful character that can really take them to a dark place, and then not being able to, grab a hold of the reality that this isn't real.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, there's so many amazing actors that have lost their lives because of losing that. And I mean, you have to have a strong emotional balance with you, right?
Right.
And take them out of it. The character is not a part of that,
Right.
you know? It's like I said, it's like a therapy. You have to like pull these pieces of that character off of you and put yourself back on.
Right. Right. So, now, you have been acting for how long now?
Well, I started about 13 years ago. I dabbled in it. Then I went into modeling, and then I went back into acting full swing 5 years ago.
Mhm.
Technically, it's 5 years, but I have I have a few things from the past that I've definitely learned and grown from.
Talk about how working as a model has helped
Mhm.
you as far as acting. Is there anything you can draw from that into acting?
No. Um, it's funny because I actually think it's not good, because when you're a model, you have to really think about what angles work for you. Like, all right, this is a great angle, make sure you do this with ever. In acting, it's more of an internal thing. If you sit there and try to make these expressions, you're going to look crazy. Okay. You should just go through it. You should not look at yourself in the mirror and say, this is what I look like when I'm happy. This is what I look at like when I'm sad, right? You need to just feel it and just go with it.
Oh, okay.
I don't think modeling helped me at all.
That's funny. That's interesting. Um, so moving forward with your career, do you have any
Mhm.
bucket list type parts that you want to do, like or are you just gonna just take it as it comes?
Uh, the ideal role for me is Angelina Jolie in Salt.
Oh, okay, all right, I get it.
Yeah,
I can see.
that's I like that stuff. I think the badass chick, the Kill Bill, not necessarily quite gory, but
Mhm.
um, yeah, I'm all about that kind of stuff.
I hey, I'm all with that. So and I can see you totally kicking some butt. So yeah,
Right.
we gotta get they gotta get on that, get you that part.
Yeah. I know. Hint. Anybody listening out there?
No, that's cool. Um, so as we get to while we're here, Eternal Code. Um,
Hmm.
have you ever thought about doing anything outside of the acting part of the business, like possibly writing or directing in the future?
Yeah. Speaking of that, so through these films that we've made, I have been a part on the back. My husband and I, when from the backside, we when we first started this, um, I actually was one of the ones of three people that helped with the producing of the film. So, like everything behind the camera, right? Casting is actually where I have found myself leaning towards, only because as an actor, you like seeing what they do on the other side of the casting couch changes your whole perspective on everything involving casting.
Yeah.
Okay. um the best character or the best actor could that fits the role may not even really get the role just because of what domino effect happens if that was going to be the person to get the role.
Right.
So there's a lot of things, it's really taught me, casting has really taught me about the truth of acting,
Mm.
what looks real and what doesn't. It's just balance, like it works with each other, you know what I mean? So casting has been my soft spot here lately. I've really been excited about, what we have coming forward, just because being able to be a part of that process, it's fun.
All right. And I see my co-host is here. Go
Mhm.
ahead and hop in, Jen.
Hey,
Hey, Jen.
I am so sorry that I am late. That was sort of unexpected, so my apologies.
Well, she's a mom, so she had to take care of some extra special mom duties. So,
It's a thing. It's a thing.
we've been
What
talking.
did I miss?
We've been talking with Katie about her career, and you are just at the right spot because we're about to talk Eternal Code, uh,
Nice.
and I'm gonna call this Eternal Code Week because we've definitely been talking about it quite a bit. Um, let's start off here. When your husband Harley first told you about wanting to do this, what was your response?
Oh my goodness. So, well, our circumstances at the time were very different. We were at a place where he kind of already knew that what he was doing like it wasn't fulfilling anything for him
Hmm.
anymore, and he felt a calling towards filmmaking. But at the time, we were just doing the acting, right? So he came home one day, and this is like within a couple of months of him actually losing his job.
Hmm.
And we were like, he was in between jobs. I was working more. And we really didn't really know what was going to happen. We were kind of just living month to month to just see, like, all right, what's this next opportunity that's going to come in your life? So he comes home from a set one day and he just says, "Hey, what are your thoughts about me making movies?" I was like, "Well," I'm laughing at this now. Um, I was always told that if you find something that you are passionate about, go for it. And like going for your dreams, right? Well, we're at this place where we have no idea what's going to happen with us. How about we just do it and see what happens? And, in the meantime, we'll have, a backup plan to just kind of be there in case, right?
Right.
Well, the backup plans were falling short. I mean, they weren't even working. But this is working, so maybe we don't need these backup plans, right? And then this has just been, all right. Well, let's do the next thing. All right, we have the opportunity. Let's do the next thing. Okay, and here we are, 5 years later.
Wow.
We're like, okay,
Wow.
if you don't know if what you're doing is what you're supposed to be doing, then check it.
Yeah. Right. Right. That's for sure. That's for certain. Yeah.
Check it at the door.
Yes. Eternal Code, when he told you that he wanted to do this particular film, what did you think? I mean, it's a wacky plot.
I love it, actually. I was, at the time, I was so curious because I mean, it's a bit of sci-fi mixed in reality.
Mm-hmm.
I love that stuff because it really, like, we're not that far away from this.
Right.
The reality is that this is something that could be happening in 10, 15 years. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Technology has advanced so much. And just the, with the moral dilemmas that he brings in, and that science, that sci-fi stuff that's going on, it just makes you think outside the box. And I thought the story was a lot of fun. I thought it was exciting.
Mm-hmm. And for those who may not know, just give a little brief synopsis of the film.
Okay, so you have a CEO of one business that is she's has a moral compass. Her father started up this business, and she takes pride in what he built and wants to live by what he brought this company on. And there's about to be a merge between this business, and another one that is developing a technology to be able to take your conscience on this downloadable chip and put it into another body, and your conscience, and you become one in this body. So it's one of those things where it's like the fountain of youth, right?
Right.
Isn't that what they call it? Where there's this dark side to this, where people who have a ton of money can just order these bodies and just live forever. And this other side that, well, what about people who have cancer? What about these people who, they can't, like, they just came back from the war and they lost a limb or something, what about them? Because they could really use this. There's a lot of conflict in it, and it's kind of cool because you get to see both sides, and how people make their decisions in the situation, in these circumstances. And I don't know, it's a really exciting story.
Wow. And let's talk about your character in it.
Mm. I am a streetwalker.
Oh wow! Wow.
Yeah, I am a flawed human being
Uh-huh.
that has dealt with problems, and kind of I look at life with hope, but you can see that life has taken its toll on me. I try to see the good in people. I try to believe that there is good left in the world, which I love that, because most people, when they think of, the dirt and scum of our world, they think that these people make bad choices all the time, and that they don't care, and that they don't have any moral compass, and that the choices, they judge it based off of their own circumstances, rather than putting themselves in that person's shoes and thinking, hey, would I do that in those circumstances? Yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right. All right. So did you have to do? How did you do research for the role?
How do I do my research?
Yeah.
Depending on the character.
Well, I mean, for this particular character. This particular.
Well, this particular character, I didn't do as much with, like, hands-on as I like to, considering what this character is and what she does.
Mm-hmm.
But for her, it was the bullet points. I went through and I figured out, like, all right, well, in this situation, she's acting more like this. Why is she acting this way? So I just kind of, like, develop a story behind the character, and bring it in with me. And I go through each scene, break it down. How do I feel about the person that I'm talking to in this scene? Kind of get a feel for what's the end result, right? Rather than getting so stuck on however you are supposed to say it, how am I meant to say it, right? And I kind of just think about it and, like, process it in my head, and I try to feel it and see what works. And a lot of it, though, is as far as, like, bringing something on into the character, is I look at the people around me. I people watch all the time.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think most actors probably do it because it's one of those things that, like, oh yeah, that person's slouching their shoulders. I wonder if, what they're carrying on them, right? Just little things like that. So like I really try to like focus on just those little points. And for this one, considering that she's a street girl, I watched some documentaries on street girls and what they do and how they're caught up in what they're doing to kind of give me a little bit more of a idea of how to approach the decision she's made.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow, that's good. That's interesting. What was it like? I've heard from Vita as well as Harley about what it was like on the set, but from your perspective, how did you like shooting this film?
This one, it was interesting because we had a different camera operator. Our DP is more likes to get in your face and he uses gadgets where he's able to like walk with you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where before it was more like tripod stuff. So he's like all up in your grill and it's like personal space, okay? So like when you got in these moments, you're like, all right, I got to make sure that I put it all in there. So
Mm-hmm.
I really try to get a feel for my environment and how this is with it. And the set, what I love about our sets is that we keep it very professional, but we are laid back with the sense of it's okay to, relax relax and have some fun. But remember, this is work and we're all here to work and you just respect each other, respect our time. So it's like, it's, it's a very freeing environment too. We try to keep the creativity around, so like people don't feel so like stuck and, I mean, the creative juices are flowing for everyone and it's nice to be able to have that space and we try to provide that space. That.
I need to be a fly on the wall on your next production uh, to check out because I hear such great things about how what the vibe is like on the set. It'd be cool to kick back and just see you guys at work doing your thing. So that's
But
pretty dope.
I
Always
remember
open.
Harley saying in just the episode earlier this week that the new the new camera stuff really
Mm-hmm.
changed a lot of basically what he was doing, which is really
Oh
interesting
yeah.
because you wouldn't normally equate that, right? I mean, and I'm not saying people who are in the know don't know, but people who aren't might not
Mm-hmm.
even think about having a different camera person, and that might change the whole narrative. It might change the
Oh
whole way it's
yes.
told altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. Yeah.
I have to say, I feel like you are married to one of the most interesting people around. He is so amazing. I'm so inspired every time we have a conversation. And so I am sitting here in absolute jealousy right now. He's really awesome. I really, really, really like him a lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he is a
he
part.
he seems like a really just a nice, fun-loving guy, and now I can see why he has such a lovely wife. So you guys are seem like a really cool couple, and like I said, I can't wait to meet you guys next week. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so moving forward, what should we be on the lookout for as far as other projects that you're going to be involved in?
Well, as far as what we're looking to do
Hmm.
in the fall, we have a couple of different options. Really, a lot of it depends on what we feel might be right in that with what we have with our group and our network and what we're capable of bringing to the table. Because every production is different. You can have somebody involved with one that isn't involved with another that's able to bring something to the table, and it just works better for whatever the next production is, right?
Hmm.
So the oh, the next project, we have two things that we're considering.
Hmm.
One is called The Peculiar Mind of Peter
Oh
Strauss,
yeah, he
All
mentioned.
right.
um, which I don't know if he told you about that. He probably did because we've been talking about this one for a long
Yeah,
time. This is the one that he really he really wants to do this one,
right.
and I think it's great. It's more. it's one of those ones where you have to think outside the box, right?
Right.
But this project is based on somebody inside their mind. It kind of has a little bit of that deception feel, where you're like stepping in different phases of this person's mind. And the whole idea is this guy is going after something to try to clear his mind. What happens? Well, we'll see, right?
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's a twist and turn kind of story. It's kind of nice too, because there's some moments in the story where you feel like it could be going one way, and then you're way off. That's good. And then the second one that we're considering is actually a vampire horror film.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't have a name yet, so we're still talking about that one. So it really all depends on where we're at and what our situation calls for.
So will you be doing the biting or getting bit?
I don't know. When the story's finished, no, what we do, what's really cool, and this is because we have a way of doing things that I'm so proud of the way that we do things, because most filmmakers, especially independent filmmakers, try to give themselves the best opportunity when maybe that opportunity isn't the best for them.
Right.
Okay. Some indie filmmakers give themselves the lead role, and they're probably not capable of holding a lead role.
Right.
You know what I mean? But we do our best at making sure that whatever role that it is that you have, you fit the role, and you bring your 120% work into this role. And it has to be one that fits you, right? I can't play a detective. Don't know why. I guess I look too young to play a detective. He won't let me play a detective. I'm like, come on, that would be cool.
You can play it.
What? They look old?
Yeah, you can be you can model detective. Yeah, you can play.
Young detective, maybe. I don't know. Maybe a young cop. I could get the young cop, but no, it really all does depend on, your fit, your truth, and your screen presence. And, if it actually is the role that you can play. I mean, there's some people that think, oh yeah, I'm really good at drama. It's like, no, you're not. You're good at comedy.
Right.
But
right. I'm good at drama, creating drama, but I don't know if acting in this drama. I don't know if I would be the best. So. Well, once again, I'd like to thank you so much for coming on the program. I'm looking forward to checking out this film next week. And how can we get you on social media? And do you have a website or anything?
Yeah, so as far as my social media goes, I have an Instagram and a Facebook page. Facebook is Kaiti Wallen, Kaiti Wallen, Wallen. As for Instagram, it's Kaiti Wallen Official. Reason for that, there are some people that try to make fake accounts out there.
Oh, wow. I'm so sorry about that.
It's weird. It's interesting because I've had it happen on Facebook, and I have friends like, "Hey, that's your picture, and that's not you. Like the info in there is not you." I'm like, "No, it's not." Like, there you go. Report that guy. Yeah. So Instagram and Facebook is my go-to. I have a LinkedIn too as well. I'm on there as well. Kaiti Wallen, Kaiti.
All right. And Jen, how can we get you social media and all that good stuff?
You can find me on social media at following Bliss1 on Twitter. And if you want to check out my websites, I have moviesmakethemeal.com and criticallaughs.com.
All right. And you can get me at Kente F on Twitter and Kente Ferguson on Instagram. And of course, the website is indyradio.org. That's INDY radio.org. We'll be back tomorrow night with the day 5, the last day of Spotlight Week. We will be talking about the 2019 fall TV lineup. Cher Davis will be joining us, and that will be a lot of fun. And in just about 20 minutes, we'll be here on Get Vocal doing Cinema de Fromage, our last film of the year, which is Plan 9 from Outer Space. So we're going to be reviewing that. So you guys stay tuned for that. So with all that said, you guys have a great rest of your week and enjoy your weekend. And God bless.